Hey everybody, and welcome back to another great day in crypto. And I hope you guys are enjoying it out there. There's definitely been some opportunities with volatility. So we're going to get into some of the awesome things happening in crypto. We're going to obviously start off with the stock market. We love to check in on that every day, just because that has flow-on effects, of course, and economic data into crypto. And of course, we're also going to have a look at the overall crypto markets. We're going to check out what Richard Hart, the founder of Pulsechain, has been saying, and then we're going to get into some of the awesome projects that have launched and that are coming up for Pulsechain, which is going to be pretty awesome. So I really do think the best is yet to come, because we've got some pretty 4 and 5 star quality projects coming to Pulsechain, and I think it's going to be a very big value add as well. So Pulsechain's not going anywhere. The PulseX and the Pulse is getting burned off more and more and more with pump tires, and the future is looking bright, and looks like very, very close to that Bitcoin altcoin rally. It might have been delayed with the Trump tariffs, and we've still got the reciprocal tariffs coming in on the 2nd of April. But I think, man, the talk of all the money coming into crypto this year is looking epic. And of course, we see Michael Saylor also stamping his mark on the crypto territory. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting, and maybe from April onwards, we'll get that big run that we expected to start in Q1, particularly around February, which of course has been deferred. But hey, look, market's looking pretty good. So we've got a lot of good stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about SolidX Index, a great group of influencers and market makers, let's say, project developers there. Of course, with Randy Alaski, Crispy Man, Access Alive, and of course, FireWhale. And we're going to talk all about that. That's coming up. And of course, FireWhale XGame. We saw 3 pump tires tokens launched by him and confirmed by him on a video earlier today in a post Pulsechain tour review. So we're going to check that out. We've also got Tetra, and we're going to be talking about that as well. And Signum, that's from the same team. So big shout out to Stu and the other guys in there in the LT shares for that. I've got a super update for that. Just came hot off the press there. So we're going to talk about that with some launch dates. We've also got Emit as well. That's expected to launch this week. So I think possibly this weekend, we'll see. Obviously, there's a lot of things happening there with marketing and promotions. But of course, getting into Telegram, which I will, I'll give you the link to do that later on. And then finally, we're going to get into PUSD Algo. And of course, a requirement for that is an Oracle. So we're looking forward to Signum Oracle there. And PUSD Algo going to be the real PDI. And I think PDI is really starting to die its death. But we're going to have a look at that later on. We're going to check out Titanx. We're going to see where that market is at. Still at the bottom of that wave 2, waiting for something to happen there. Maybe a bit of leadership might help there. Marketing. It's supposed to be one of the principles of Titanx. So let's see how that goes. And of course, we actually have a little sneak peek at X1. X1 chain's coming, and that's expected to be huge. Of course, the full fork of Solana. That's got to be a good thing with all the bells and whistles of all the latest tokenomics and technology and opportunity. So that's coming from Jack Levin. We haven't talked about that for a while because we're just waiting patiently for him to get to launch time, right? So they still seem to be doing a bit of technical stuff, but we'll get there. And big shout out. So get into the chat there. Obviously, we're streaming on Rumble now for a week? Is it over a week? Just over a week, maybe. So big shout out to everybody over on Rumble. Really do enjoy Rumble. What a wonderful place it is. It feels just free over there. Isn't it amazing when you got actual freedom? It's how good that is, right? So yeah, everyone's got to fight for freedom these days because there's a lot of Marxists and globalists out there that try and take it away, and they use a lot of fake propaganda to try and box us in. But no, freedom. We want it, and it feels good to be over Rumble there. So big shout out. Also, of course, a big shout out to all the YouTube supporters and growing on X as well. So we're going to get into all that. So without further ado, let's get into the chat there as well and say hello to a few people. We've got Brian in the house. Hey, Brian, good to see you. We've got Hexhog as well as Sidekick. Woohoo, getting excited. I certainly like these messages here because they're a bit faster to put up now. I do like the fancy animations, but, you've got to keep it simple sometimes. Property View, good to see you. Long time no see. Big shout out, long time supporter. If you haven't checked out Property View, if you love multi-million-dollar mansions, Property View does reviews of those all around the world. Big, awesome channel there. If you like to maybe something when you get super hyper rich in crypto, you can go buy some of those properties on Property View show there. We got David in the house as well. Evening, David. Good to see you in the house. And of course, Wookie as well. Wookie lives free. Yeah, indeed you do. Probably in another galaxy though, Wookie. Probably another galaxy. Poor and free, says Wookie. Poor and free. hey, look, there's a lot of poor and free people out there. There's a lot of rich and jail people out there too. Hey, P Daddy. All right, so let's get into it. Without further ado, let's jump into the chat there. And a big shout out. Have we got any comments on Rumble? Let me have a look there. No. Oh, you got Brian over there. Sup, folks? Good to see you, Brian. And we've got a nice crowd over there. A very growing crowd on Rumble. Very, very excited there. Rumble and YouTube run different algorithms, and I think Rumble is probably a lot more friendly, to be honest. So very, very cool to be over on Rumble as well. And of course, X2. All right, without further ado, let's get into the stock market and see where we are at over the last 24 hours. And of course, we had Tuesday's results, right? Monday was fantastic on stock market, really good. Tuesday has not been disappointing either. Another good day in the office, so pretty exciting. S&P 500 closes higher as Tesla leads tech higher. And of course, Tesla under assault because Elon Musk is doing the dodge, challenging all the corruption in the US government and getting rid of it. And we're talking $1 trillion plus will be there. We'll talk $1 trillion plus, probably closer to $2 trillion. That's probably where the mark will be. We will see how much he can actually get out legally and process. But very, very cool. We got Dow Jones there is flat today, 4 points, up 4 points, so 42,587. S&P 500 is up 0.16%, 9 points to 5,776. And finally, the Nasdaq with all the tech companies, including Tesla, is up almost 0.5%, 83 points to 18,271. Now, you guys know we're in the age of AI, right? So the age of AI, it's like, for us to grow up on Terminator, this is the real world. Terminator's coming, man. It's kind of scary. Skynet is going to be real. It could be. Skynet might end up being run by some 12-year-old super genius autistic kid running AI code in his garage, and he's decided that he just wants to have some fun. And he decides to turn his super code on the world. Honestly, we're going to see some insane things, especially if the so-called quantum is running properly there. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen, but ever since we got this AI quantum ideas around quantum, these are subatomic particles. The what do you call it? The chemistry of the universe, let's say. And there's so much stuff going around that it's pretty hilarious. But that's for another show. We might talk about that on a show. That's for sure. All right, so we're going to get some cool stuff here. We got consumer confidence falls to the lowest level since early 2021. Now, as you guys know, U.S. economy is about $27.7 trillion. And of course, 2/3 of it is consumption. And of course, that's makes U.S. the big consumer of the world, about 20% of the world's GDP at the moment, and that's likely to grow as a percentage under Trump's golden era, right? So we've got consumer confidence falls. So this is obviously pulls back inflation expectations a little bit, but also impacts the economy. And of course, we talked about Morgan Stanley going from 30 to 40% on their chances of recession. And then some people having the theory that Trump may want a short-term recession, obviously to reduce interest rates, increase monetary supply, and get the economy really rolling out the middle to long term for this golden era of America, right? So let's see how that all plays out. But at the moment, it looks like Trump maybe have softened that position and wants us just to have a nice little ease through to that big GDP numbers. And we're talking about going from maybe 1.8% to about 3% or more with the golden America. I think that if he does do a lot of things that I've had in my Trump strategy, if you haven't checked out that video, definitely check it out. It's the best one on the internet without a doubt. Then check that out, and we will see. We'll see that he could do more than 3% quite easily if he gets a lot of that stuff up and running. So consumer confidence down a bit at 92.9% after down from 101 too. So it's quite different. And of course, they're talking about concerns about tariffs. Yeah, maybe. We got the data today add evidence to the case the economy has cooled from the torrid pace of consumer-driven growth in the past 18 months. And of course, we do have a delayed impact from high interest rates, so we're still coming off that period as well. So Trump's inherited a lot of issues that he's got to deal with. PCE price data, and of course, this is the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge is due on Friday. That's a big event for Friday, folks. I cannot kid you not. There will be a Saturday here for us. So we'll see what the PCE data comes in. It's a broader measure of inflation. It has a lot more product ranges and a basket of goods than the CPI, which is a consumer price index, and a lot of people are usually familiar with. The print, particularly called PCE data, is widely expected to have remained above the Fed's 2% target in February. And this is what I think. I think Congress needs to revise, I guess, the Federal Reserves Act there, because it's supposed to be independent, right? And I think that's the process that they need to revise the target from 2% to a range of 1.1 to 3%. That's what we have in New Zealand. And of course, New Zealand was the one that created the idea of a 2% target and then moved to a range. And I think a range between 1 and 3% is a much better idea, more pragmatic in financial markets. Before that, a revised reading of fourth quarter gross domestic product is due on Thursday, while home prices and sales data due Wednesday there. So we shall see. And of course, we've got the tariffs coming up, Liberation Day for America with the tariffs. And of course, normally you would think that as a non-American like myself, I'd be upset about this, but actually, I'm upset about my own country because we need help, man. We're in trouble, and we've got every single bad thing you could imagine in our country. We got, and we used to be one of the greatest countries in the world ourselves. We had a big ocean protecting us from all the madness from the old world, and of course, now we've got Marxism and globalism and terrorism and Islamicism. We've got the whole thing all trying to take over our society at the moment. So wish us well, man. We've got Indian imperialism, Chinese imperialism. Man, we are onslaughted, and we're only a small little population. We're only a small little population, so I think we're pretty much doomed. So this is probably one of the last broadcasts from a Kiwi in New Zealand that you'll ever see. So it's going to be pretty crazy. Anyway, moving on. We've got a Liberation Day in the United States on April the 2nd with, of course, reciprocal tariffs. And so we'll see how that goes. I particularly think tariffs will probably target particular countries, maybe a dozen or so. These are specific targets, tariffs above that, of course, particularly around aluminium, steel, and copper and other things like that. Things that America needs to rebuild the golden age, and that's what Trump is doing. Very clever strategies. Trump, however, still kept his tariff threats, adding on Monday that he will impose tariffs on automobiles. Of course, keeping that manufacturing in there. As you guys know, US used to have back in the 70s about 20% of the US economy was in manufacturing. That has dropped 7 percentage points since that time up till now. And of course, that was feeding the middle class and high incomes in the US. So very important there. So Trump's going to bring this back. Why am I talking about this? Because it's going to feed crypto like you've never seen before. So we sort of hopefully have lower interest rates, a big monetary printing, a big economy built out. Imagine the amount of money that can flow into crypto in those sort of perfect environments. And that's what Trump's trying to create. That's why I talk about this stuff so much as well. It is going to be pretty epic. And of course, it's going to take probably 12 to 18 months to really kick that into gear. But I suggest to you that we'll get the financial markets moving pretty aggressively this year, and 26 could be pretty outstanding once all this GDP and growth and development all really kicks into place. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So very excited about that. Now, the European Trade Commission is due to meet with the US officials in Washington later this season, according to media reports citing an EU spokesperson. Earlier this month, the bloc delayed planned retaliatory tariffs on steel and aluminium levies in a bid to buy more time to talk with Trump administration. Now, just about these tariffs, a lot of these tariffs, particularly around steel and aluminium, probably won't have much impact on US prices at all, because a lot of the stuff is dumped. It's just dumped into the US market. And so, it's government subsidized. And so these issues need to be dealt with now. And, it's just ironic that Trump is actually leading not only free trade, but fair trade in the US, and of course, using tariffs to shake things up. But of course, he's got multiple goals in mind when he's using these tariffs to shake things up. And of course, if you've seen his, if you've read his book, then you would know The Art of the Deal, that ambiguity is a huge part of it, and you see it constantly in every single media session. He is using that, and of course, it's a very effective tool, especially when you hold most, if not all, the cards in your hand to play the game. And so there we go. It's going to be pretty fun there. Now, they seem to be making good progress too on the geopolitical risks around Ukraine, and to some degree also the Middle East issues as well. So lots of cool things, and of course, Tesla there. Stock was up more 3%. So a pretty good day in the office there for stock market there. Now, I just want to quickly look at commodities before we move on, and we're going to have a quick look at that. So we've got West Texas at $69, Brent oil at 72. Now, if Trump is successful with his energy plan, which I'm sure he is, we've had 2 new LNG plants commissioned, so that's already going ahead down in the old Gulf of America. And then, we're going to start seeing some pretty exciting things, and just generally in the energy industry, lowering prices, increasing production. And of course, that's going to be pretty exciting. And then eventually, we may even see, maybe towards the late part of his presidency, Anwar up in Alaska getting, assessed and radically built out. These guys are not going to muck around with time. So whatever time frame that you're normally used to, maybe 5 to 10 years, these guys are looking at 1 to 2 years at the max. I mean, these guys will be, getting every man and cat and dog to go build some pipes and drilling wells. It's going to be pretty insane. Like I say, but these guys are running at such a fast pace. Even the tech guys are saying this is faster than tech. That the way that the Trump administration is running. So it's pretty exciting. Now, gold at the moment, $3,054. Just taking a bit of a breather at the moment. We're expecting, like Morgan Stanley said, about 3.5K. I see that seems pretty realistic to me. Silver at the moment, $74.27. I think that's going to flip gold in the sense of the growth rate moving forward and probably end up racing towards 75K, $75, I should say, not 75K. That'd be amazing. $75, that's pretty cool. So let's see where that all heads. That is the stock market. Not bad. 2 green days. And of course, that brings us to crypto. Before we get onto that, we've got a couple of comments in the chat there. So let's go back down there and check out who's here as well. So let's see here. We've got a couple here. We've got Neil Fatish is in the house there. Hey, everybody. Good to see you, Neil. And of course, Neil, they're one of the founders there for the Signum Oracle and, of course, Tetra, which is coming down the line. And we're excited about it. And Neil says, who is ready for some DeFi automation? I like that. That is such a game changer. We're looking forward to that. We could have two protocols teams helping along with this challenge. And it looks definitely like the Tetra team will be out first. I'm very excited about. And of course, the other one I'm thinking about is Patias with their AI solutions. So we're going to have some fantastic products on Pulsechain, really game changers. So looking forward to that. We got Hex Down Under. What's fresh, Suitman? Hey, Hex Down Under. Well, hopefully the markets are a bit fresh, a bit greeny fresh. We got a bit of a mixed bag today, though. We got Hardy Hexalorian in the house as well. Hey, Suitman and Hex and Pulse community. Big shout out to you. We got Red Squirrel in the house as well. Oi, oi. Hey, thanks, Red Squirrel, to help me out in the old Tetra, their Discord. Telegram. I appreciate that. Big shout out. And it's all Red fault. It's all Red's fault, says Neil for shares. That's funny. We got Hardy Hexalorian. Tell New Zealand to buy PDI. Yeah. Tell New Zealand to buy PDI. Well, I think that's PDI. We're going to talk about that later on. But it's not my main focus today, but we are definitely going to probably look at the maker contract, just not because of the exploiter, apparently minted another 91 million PDI, but we're going to actually look at the maker contract itself because I find that kind of fascinating. So I do want to look at that. We might have a quick look at the PDI price. And we have been covering that in pretty good detail on this channel. Now, as you guys know, I kind of take a neutral, a Switzerland view of this. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about that probably briefly later on. Why not? All right, let's see who else has jumped in here. We got Wiki says, save us, Trump. Indeed. That's what we're hoping. At least they have an influence on us. If by red you mean Neil, then yes. I thought he meant Chairman Mao. Chairman Mao with the old red book. We got Hardy Excellent. Hey, hello, Brian. Good to see you. Yeah, Brian's amazing. He's our community leader. Big shout out. So is Wookie. Wookie is also one. 21 on Rumble. Yeah, fantastic over on Rumble. Really appreciate it over on Rumble. So a big shout out over there. And hope everyone is doing great. We're about to get into some major updates here. And we got Neil says Tetra update release is moved to Friday, the April the 11th per Stewman. Sorry for the delay. Hey, look, we're going to be talking about that. That's coming up. That is some of the breaking news right there. And we got Luna C Point as well. Hey, gang, good to see you, Luna. And love that heart out. Lots of love out in the community. Big shout out. All right, let's get back into it. And let's check out these charts here. So look at this. This is crypto. Bitcoin at the moment, $87,430. That's holding up pretty well, right? And we know that money is starting to come back through the ETFs, institutional buying. We know that Michael Saylor is, with Mr. is buying more Bitcoin, leveraging up that stock, getting more capital, because he sees the big picture. And he will have a lot of insights into institutional money coming in, as well as government and state level. And we know the states are racing to get their bills through so they can start investing in crypto. And we've seen a lot of big players like GameStop come out today as well, just announcing they've approved. They've got a multi-billion dollars, I think, and they're talking about going into Bitcoin now, adding it to there as well, because that strategic reserve, Bitcoin reserve that Trump approved, and of course Sachs is out there, has been facilitating that as the crypto czar. Is pretty exciting. Now, he's not just a crypto czar, but the AI and crypto czar, which is pretty cool. So lots of good things coming, folks. Lots of good things. 59.43% dominance. ETH at the moment, back over 2,000. I'm pretty happy about that. It doesn't seem right Ethereum being under $2,000. So $2,064. It is down just a little bit there. And of course, maybe the X1 chain, maybe Zen is going to help. ETH, of course, it's pretty much the number one gas minter these days. And of course, we shall see what happens there with ETH. But of course, if you're going to make your own chain with X1, then maybe you're going to suck a bit of the air out there too. But of course, people can keep on mining Zen over there, and people are doing it because the Gwei is like less than half a Gwei, maybe a third of a Gwei, something like that. So it's like $25, pretty easy. Oh, we just got Bitcoin going green there. I love that when it does that. Bam, dynamic. We got BNB at the moment down 1.2%, $629. We got the Solana up 2.8%, $144. ADA up 2% at the 74.3 cents. Tron down 2/3% at 22.6 cents. We got Su chain there at up 2.8%. Not too bad, not too bad. And the big one though is XRP, right? XRP getting let off with the $50 million, I think it was. So XRP is free, and of course that leaves it to rally. Ripple, of course, asked by the SEC not to do any cross challenges, and of course looks like they're not going to, and just let bygone be bygone and move forward. So $2.44. That being said, of course, Ripple keeps dumping down XRP. It's just a bit like exit liquidity for them from the looks of it. So not my favorite chain, but I do understand it is disintermediating international bank transfers like Swift with the old Ripple payments there. So, hey, it is what it is. Crypto's taken over in some form or another. And of course, under President Trump, it's going to be even faster and faster and faster, right? Now, we got Litecoin there at the moment. That is down up 0.5% as well at $94. So, got some movers and shakers. Not pretty good, right? And of course, we're expecting big things for Bitcoin. So let's quickly look at that as well. The Bitcoin chart here on Coinbase is at 87,338. And of course, we're right between the 50-day and the 200-day. That is good news because we want to avoid the death cross, right? Because we want to continue the rally. And we haven't really had the Bitcoin hyper rally yet. We haven't had the altcoin season like we're expecting. And ETH has been struggling even when Bitcoin was making higher highs. But hey, look, we're going to see, can ETH take out its previous all-time high? And of course, that will have massive ramifications for the Magic Carpet Ride on Pulsechain, which is obviously down about 48% or something like that. So we're at right in the middle. So we'll see how we go and avert this death cross. We've already done it once back here in September. Let's do it again, right? Let's do it again. So pretty cool. Let me see if I can reset this chart. Sorry, missed the button there. Let's see if we can reset that. Oh, what have we done there? Scale price, lock price. Screw it. We're finished. Anyway, we talked about mostly what we're going to do, and hate live streams sometimes. That's what happens. All right, so we're going to get into Richard's stuff there and talk about that because it's Richard's posting out some badass stuff these days. Hardy X Lauren says PDI is still my choice. I trust my gut feeling and Somi. Hardy, I don't know. Don't. Yeah. Well, hey, look. I think it's probably largely done. We're going to talk about that, and you can decide. We'll see about that. I think there's better value, and I'm going to talk about it because I've talked about the strategies that would happen to ring fence PDI after the exploit, at least the process that the so-called Mr. Dong is doing. So we'll talk about that. PDI is So be careful out there, Hard Xlorian, and I definitely don't over calorize that one. We got Brendan says Nick Minute. Howdy, folks. Hey, good to see you, Brendan. Big shout out to you. Now, Brendan's one of our moderators, and he's our TA guru, so technical analysis guru, and he's very good at it. So big shout out to you, Brendan. We should probably get you on the show, Brendan, to do a whole TA show as well. Mr. M. Rocky in house there. The RH ecosystem only did well when there was one coin. It's been a disaster ever since. Well, the chain, it is a pulse chain. It is designed for developers to build a lot of protocols, and that's what this whole show is about, adding value to people. And so if you add a lot more value over time, more people will come. And the other thing is that in the meantime, at the base layer, the infrastructure layer, the buy and burns are operating. The Pulsex buy and burns, the Pulse buy and burns, and also once we get to altcoin season, retail floods in, and of course we get the flow over and multiplier effect from institutions and government buying and other cryptos. So it's going to be pretty risk on, and of course we get monetary printing as well, and lower interest rates, and of course a thriving economy and world peace. That is very exciting. So it all plays into the whole super bull market there. Or not, says Wookie. All right, so anyway, Richard here posted this out about 23 hours ago or so. Says, I like the idea of people launching their own coins on pump.tires better than what we saw with PRV, Pepe, and PDI. In the old days, free airdrops would often spawn a new community. Now it's almost, it seems to mostly just spawn extractors with which locusts leave. Now, the one thing I want to say is that when Pulsechain was copied on the 10th of May 2023 and launched on the 13th of May, it copied over the contracts of some of the big protocols, and that's what the ones that we've got here. We've got a meme coin there, but we got Aave and PDI, and so it copies over these contracts. And we saw certain activities with the AMM bot harvesting and things like that. That's pretty controversial. It was a technical enabler, but it was also controversial, obviously with the concentration of tokens. But that's essentially the system that Richard sets up for everything, from Hex through to Pulsechain, PulseX, etc. And then you're kind of reliant on a good custodial. So there we go. Maybe the architect in the Matrix, was he a good guy or a bad guy? But you got to be a good guy, and that's kind of the thing there. So it's not, it's DeFi, but it still has, still not pure DeFi in the sense. But we have projects that are pretty DeFi in the protocol. So and so far we're hundreds and hundreds and hundreds a day into it, and everything is kind of tracking there. So have all the worst things happened to Pulsechain so far? Well, we had the SEC, right? I mean, what can you do about that? The 31st of July, 2023. What can you do about that? That put a shadow over the chain. Well, what you can do is you can build, right? Build, baby, build. And of course, you can do other moves as well. And we've seen that. We've seen tons and tons of projects launching on Pulsechain. We got all the forks. We got all the Hex derivatives. I mean, we had lots of stuff coming. We had lots of meme ecosystems. Recently, we've had a big bonanza of tariff tokens, reflection tokens, with all sorts of variations of tokenomics. We've had web LPing, right? Arbitraging. That's been a big one there, trying to get, counter the MEV bots, who were taking advantage. We've had so many things happen on Pulsechain. And of course, recently we've seen some moves by Richard Hart's team about lowering inflation. And that's possibly an early sign of things to come. We saw pump tires get launched, right? And of course, that is a way of accelerating Pulse gas prices as well, by getting more burn through Pulse and PulseX. And we may very well see something for incentive tokens. So lots of things happening on the Pulse chain to the upside. And if we hold this range on Pulse at the moment, we could very well see the chain start to just slowly shimmer as we move forward, especially after the SEC extension is finished after 30 days. And if they don't do anything, we shall see whether they get smacked down by the courts as they have already. So lots of stuff in store for us. And it's been a long time waiting for sure, no doubt about that. But in the future, things could very well turn around, just like they did for Hex, right? Just like they did for Hex in 2021. All right, so now it seems to mostly just spawn extractors with which locust and leave. Well, that's not just the case. That's today we're covering all the positive stuff, right? We're covering all the positive projects that are coming to Pulsechain, and we've got absolutely, I think, a 4 and 5 star list there listed out there. So we've got SolidX Index, FireWhale, XGame, Tetra, Signum, Emit, and of course USD Algo. Just some top tiers, and there's many others coming as well, which we'll be covering, as you guys know. So pretty cool post there. Let's have a look at the results for Pulsechain before we get into all those projects we're going to talk about. We got day 683. We got Pulse at the moment, quadruple 0284, down 6.6%. Just a wonderful range at the moment for Pulse to get into. 28% of the mean sacrifice price. PulseX is at quadruple 0241, down 11%, and the buy and burn is at 1.34 trillion. And that's where it's at the moment. And we've got to change that percentage, but that's kind of where we are. And we've got incentive token at the moment, 1.51. $1.51 at down 13.8%, and the ratio at 53,712. We've got the supply around 55 million. But the key moves that we've seen from Richard is pump tires, and of course the lowering inflation, not just for incentive token, 20x lower, but also for Hex, right? Hex has now had the OA sacrifice wallets move, and of course do a massive amount of staking, 250 billion we just saw come out of a 30-day miner, and of course then get laddered out into the future, lowering effectively over that period of time the payout for Hex from 7.5 Hex per T-share down to 1.5, lowering that inflation, therefore arguably making an implied value for Hex. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to play out straight away. That's the thing. And so when it doesn't play out straight away, that's normally the zone to accumulate in a DCA fashion at these prices. So that's kind of the idea there. And then you just have to be patient because the underlying Pulse and PulseX being burned off. And of course, the Hex inflation has got pretty thin liquidity. And so therefore, it can be moved pretty quickly at the choosing of the market makers. And so we shall see where we head with that. So once again, I'm looking forward to some pretty cool stuff there. In the meantime, we've got lots of top tier protocols launching on Pulsechain, which we're going to cover. So let's go to the gas prices. At the moment, we've got 3.7 million beats. We've got the validators at the moment. We've got 48,500. And as David Feder said, he said it's a good time to get some Pulse at the moment. Price is real friendly. They get 32 million Pulse, start running your own validator. However, there are quite a few opportunities on Pulsechain to run decentralized ones through NFTs and other protocols. I'm thinking of Hoarded strategy out there and projects like that with UpToken and their other new token out at the moment for validating, which has been giving almost twice as much yield on that as well, rather than 10 to 12%, more like 18%, something like that. So pretty cool. We've got the bridge at the moment. This is kind of our health check. We were fifth at 92 million yesterday, 92.6. We're down at 90.4 at the moment. The DAI is pretty much the same. So EDAI is pretty much the same. So we haven't got leakage out of the system from that. Obviously, with the PDAI drama, when the PDAI, and we are going to talk about that because it's linked up to the rest of Pulsechain value. And of course, that was the alarm that people have had. And of course, it has impacted Richard Hart tokens core, I would say. But everything else, Ether's there, still looking pretty solid. Wrap Bitcoin as well. And we've got Coast at the moment at $9 million and so forth. So, it's going to be pretty important when we've got all these native stablecoins, USDL, PXDC, HTC, and Coast, all sitting there providing value. But you guys know we need something that scales. And of course, people thought PDAI Maker would be that. But of course, PDAI Maker has some serious problems, an exploiter, and of course, oracles as well. And of course, even if Maker takes over the contract, what's going to happen there? There's a bit of time to go through there. It's not all going to happen straight away. There's lots of issues there as well. And of course, there's lots of big holders of Maker. And of course, they could dump on that too. So no private keys, but whoever controls the Maker can control that. And of course, when you do have a flop auctions, things like that, you're going to have a lot of Maker minting. And of course, you've got ups and downs, volatility. So there's a lot of issues around there. Thin liquidity pool at the moment. So the price can be moved up and down pretty easily, but of course it takes people to actually buy and sell, and of course maybe the momentum is falling off there. So PUSD Algo is going to be the big algorithmic coin. It's the state-of-the-art DeFi solution coming from one of the world's best, if not the best, peer-to-peer dev, Jacob, and of course we're looking forward to that. So let's jump on into SolidX. SolidX, of course, is one of the ones we're going to talk about, which is FireWhale. Now, if many of you don't know who FireWhale is, Randy Alaska, of course, you probably know who he is. A big influencer, one of the large influencers in the Pulsechain and crypto communities. And he does an incredible job there. He's got his No Permissions social group and does a great meeting there. They meet every week and chat, and they do lots of other stuff there. So No Permissions. He's got his Note token, of course. If you haven't checked out Note token, that's probably going to be one of the better performers in my view moving forward. Good one to accumulate. And of course, he's doing some great stuff. So he's also part of this SolidX index. This is along with other influencers. Another big influence in the space is Access Alive. He's got his own token. That's been a very good performer, I would say, over most of the period, and certainly been one of the better performers recently. And then, of course, you've got Crispy Man, who does the analytical, the next level detail of Hex, right? He's kind of the man to go to now. And he does a great show on that as well. And he's got his Fire token, right? Fire token. So all these tokens inside this index, this SolidX index. And then, of course, there's Randy Alaski's whale friend, as I understand it, a early big Hex winner that did very, very well. And as he disclosed yesterday, had something like a $70 million portfolio. That's still pretty significant, around 10 million, but still way down. So, the future success of Pulsechain is also success for him. And of course, that's the same thing is true of our big VCs, Rack and Rochelle, who was the biggest sacrificer as well on Pulsechain, and his, the consortium of big whale investors. They also obviously looking forward to a successful chain moving forward. Now we know that Rack and Rochelle in due course is on coming back from his honeymoon soon, and who knows what projects he will be looking to pick up. But he'll be looking for quality, and we know that Scuba Steve there will be helping him, identify those kind of protocols. So who knows where he will be heading, and of course that can facilitate value as well. Every system needs, big whales and investors to cornerstone and anchor and make possible some of these projects, as well as the retail. So very, very important future there. So lots of good stuff. Now, we got Solid Index. They did a great show. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check that out on the Pulsechain Tour YouTube. And I might post it in the Discord. In fact, I think I have done it already, at least for the Strategy Club. Now, if you haven't joined our community in Discord, I really encourage you to join. It's only $12.50 a month. It's a private club. We keep out all the spammers, and it's a great place to be. We have all the information. We have a crypto help desk. We have a politics society conversations. We talk about a bit of everything. We've got a great bunch of people in there, as well as great insights. So you can join up to that today. The link's in the video description to Discord. Also, Strategy Club is a bit more detail. We get a ton of intel flowing through there, and that is $35 a month. So I really encourage you to join that too. Yeah, lots of cool stuff going on there. Now we've got the FireWhale XGame. So this is the token for SolidX. This is the original, right? This is the normal sort of token ticker here, and that has actually had quite a nice rally here on the fact that FireWhale, the big whale, Randy Zalaski's friend, is looking to get his game out. He's been doing this, wanting to do this game for decades now, and he's finally got it coming. He's just waiting for his game license, which is pretty cool. So we're actually going to bring that up, actually. I think I've got it. I'm not sure if I've got it on the screen, actually. Let me just quickly check, see if I got this. We've only got the prototype, like the test version live there. So we're just going to pull this up. So let me just add that to the mix. So this is the game here that is looking forward to launch. And so last night, FireWhale launched a couple of tokens, right? So this is the normal one. So this is the normal token here. You can see it ends with F6 is SolidX. And what's he done? So this was related to PDI. Now it had liquidity shared with PDI. And of course, I said one of the strategies that we should see from the teams regarding PDI and the exploit, and of course, the Oracle issue as well that's sitting in the background that hardly anyone talks about. Because they think going to take it over with the maker and get a maker vote and take it over. But who knows who's going to win that scenario? We went through all the scenarios, remember? And who knows if you have a flop auction, who gets all the supply, right? Because we're going to have about 20% of the maker supply minted and then bid for and take over. So who knows? Does good player, bad player? It's like good cop, bad cop. We don't know. So pretty crazy. So yeah, we've got that happening going on now. So SolidX here is the original, and we can see it's actually going up in value, and it's been one of the better protocols as well. Now, when it first launched, the first 9 days, it had a massive rally. It went from 1/10 of a penny to $263 inside 9 days. It was insane, and of course, we watched that in Discord, which is one good reason to be in our Discord. We were watching that, and you can see that chart. It started off 1/10 of a penny and went up within 9 days. This is a weekly chart. Went up to $265, actually, not 263, $265, and has since come back down there. It bounced off last week, $4.82, and is now back up at $10.63. So a pretty damn good return just inside a week there, as you can see. If we go to the daily, you can see that bounce back there over the last 5 days. And now, of course, FireWhale's big vision is coming to the fore here, and this is going to be a crash game. So we talked about Mafia game from Jacob, one of the best, if not the best peer-to-peer dev in the world, is now we've got another game coming, Crash Game, and there's a vision of FireWhale. So big shout out to him bringing his vision to reality here. Now there's some secret sauce in here. Of course, you can play this at the moment on testnet, so you can just connect up and play this. I'll actually post the link to this in the chat there. If you guys want to check it out, post it up there. You have to get some test coins, but it does all that for you. Just connect up and do that. And that is the link there. Now, this is going to go live probably within maybe the next 2 to 4 weeks. So he's applied for a global gambling permit for this Crash Game. If you've not played Crash Game, you can see it on like Betfury and other casinos. This is going to be a full DeFi solution. And of course, it's also going to have a massive referral program. So we know that Eric, I think Eric from DragonX is involved in developing this on his behalf, and we know he's going to be doing a referral program for Hydra and Titan X projects. But it looks like they're also going to be doing that for this X game, and it's going to be Crash. Now, Crash games are very addictive. A lot of people play them, and having a decentralized version is really, really cool. But here's the kicker, right? The kicker is that it's going to have referral codes where people that refer it get 30% of the profitability, right? So pretty much play. And so that means that influencers, people in the community, people with networks, people with friends that want to send it to, that they know love playing this game, will be able to earn in that profit play. So it's kind of a a neutral position, right? Because people are going to play anyway, and they can go to any site they want if they're already playing. And it's only going to be people largely that like this sort of stuff. If you don't like it, maybe you like netball or something. You're going to do something else, right? So it's pretty cool. And we could see this absolutely go explode, absolutely go viral, and it could be another killer app on Pulsechain. And of course, we're always hunting those killer apps that really just go huge, right? Remember Base Chain launched and we had the Friends app and all the influencers jumped on that? It was the same kind of thing, right? Where they're trading stocks on themselves. So we could see that with this. So it could be pretty huge. Now, it only fits a certain part of the market, right? That like this sort of thing. But it is an important part of the market. As you can imagine, imagine Pulsechain like a store with lots of different things on the shelves is one of those important things on the shelves. Maybe it's up at the front there where people like to buy their Coke and their chocolate. But once again, it sort of fits that market at the moment. So check that out. We got Hardy Excellence says, hey guys, don't forget to click the like button and of course to make our host and our community happy. Hey, big shout out there, Hardy Excellent. Appreciate that. All right. So big shout out to everybody over in Rumble. We've got a great crowd over in Rumble and a great crowd here on YouTube as well. So really getting some good numbers and growing really nicely. And hopefully we're covering all the things that you want to, right? So, and that's a ton of stuff, right? So I'm just digesting a ton of stuff for you guys and feeding it back. And it's a real honor to do that. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. And I love these teams. We've got a lot of great quality teams. So it's a pleasure to cover the teams coming up as well. So that is XGame. And of course, that's the original, right? But there's more. Wait, there's more. And of course, the top 10 tokens that launched on Pump Tires. We talked Richard say, hey, launch on Pump Tires. If you want to launch tokens, you have to do that. You can use other token launches, right? So you can do all that. So you got what Trust Wallet. You got lots of other sites that we've got on our list. We've got these as well. But if you use Pump Tires, that obviously helps Ben Pulse and all the rest of it. And of course, it's got the same thing where Richard Hart's team holds a lot of the tokens. So it's got that sort of consolidated ownership. It does prevent whales from manipulating the system as well. But then, of course, we saw last night we got these 3 tokens launched, right? XGame launched and SolidX launched. I saw them pretty much launch within half an hour or something. Now, I didn't see them on Pump Tires because they were obviously on there. XGame and SolidX, they launched pretty quickly. They were pretty much controlled. Majority of it's controlled by FireWhale. So he's got the majority. I don't know what percentage. I think it's 90%, 95% or something. And then we got FireWhale launch as well. So XGame obviously with XGame IO, SolidX with is a Pump Tires version of that. Now he wanted to get these first before people tried to duplicate his original SolidX token, right, which is further down. See with the little blue icon here. So he got those out first. He controls most of the supply, and therefore he's going to also support that supply. So it's pretty cool. And then he had FireWhale. So FireWhale, he controls about 55%. So it's a bit different. He also wanted the community to get more of the tokens because they can't get most of the tokens in XGame or SolidX from the Pump Tires version. And so FireWhale actually is allowing you. That's kind of his sort of personalized token, and it allows you to get more of that from the community. So that was kind of cool. Now, these have all launched. They had a huge rally, of course, thousands of percent. And, of course, they had their little pullback, of course. They all roll over, right? All roll over. And, of course, maybe within like 10 hours after they launched, he had the live show, right, with the SolidX index guys, right, with Axis and Crispy Man. And that was following their stream on Pulsechain Tour, I believe. So pretty exciting there. Now we'll have a quick look at these just briefly, just to show you the hourly. We'll show the hourly charts on these, so you can see the chart there. Do big rally, just pulled back there a little bit there. I'm going to get rid of the price charts too. So you can sort of see that is XGame, and of course he controls most of the supply, so it's going to be really interesting. He's going to support it. It's going to be interesting to see this. And of course, when XGame goes live, maybe within 2 to 4 weeks, once he gets their gambling license. Remember, he applied for it like a month or so ago, maybe 2 months, and it takes about 2 or 3 months to get them. So that's kind of the idea there. And it's going to have a big referral program. Could it be one of the killer apps on Pulsechain? And of course, it can go multi-chain after that too, right? So can be held back there, particularly on EVM chains. Now we've obviously got that, so that's ticking away there with the old chart. So I'm going to post a link there. Now you can get to these on Dex Screener under Pulsechain. It's not difficult to do. In fact, maybe I'll just post that so you guys can jump in there yourself. Remember, always do your own due diligence. You're responsible for your own decisions and things like that. I'm just trying to do a good coverage of them, just like any influencer. So that is the limit there. Bam. You can check all the tokens. And of course, the next one is SolidX. So let's have a look at that. That's the pump version of the original, which has been rolling over $10. We can see this is at 2300th of a penny. It had a big rally. Of course, it rolled over. Came all the way back down to 0.2 of a penny, and now it's back at 2300th of a penny here. Probably likely to keep going up, as my guess. Remember, he controls most of the supply and so on. But once again, still sort of mean representations of this pump mentor there. So we'll see what it does in the future. Nothing is guaranteed. And then we've got the FireWhale, which he controls less, right? He controls maybe 55%. And this had obviously a big rally, then a bit of a rollover, came all the way down to what? Went all the way up to 3,200th of a penny, came all the way down to 1,200th of a penny, is now starting to move up a bit. So we're at 1,700th of a penny, and the high so far today is 1,900th of a penny. So we shall see what happens here. And of course, this one here, people can get more of, right? Because there's more available. He controls less of it. So power to the people. Power to the people. So that's some of the action there. Some of the other stuff that we've seen, of course, we've got 33.5 million in volume today on Pulsechain, 382,000 transactions. We can see some of the other ones that are doing pretty well. Pain. Now, Pain apparently has been picked up by the SolidX crew. It's not their token apparently, but they've been supporting that apparently, and that's done some pretty crazy stuff in the numbers. And we can see that here on the hourly chart, getting pumped up there all the way up to 0.0046. So that's pretty interesting. Access Alive covering that today as well. We got Mitchie there up 87%. It's been around for a month on pump tires. We've got Missile as well from the Finvesta ecosystem. Now, Finvesta's obviously been a huge ecosystem in the last month or so, couple of months. And we've got Missile as well, so they're pretty good. Dominance, another Finvesta token, that's up 33%. So Finvesta is also up as well, up about 29%. So Finvesta and related tokens are doing pretty well. So these are these web LPing arbitrage tax tokens doing pretty well. And Teddy Bear there. Now we had PDI, we have Teddy Bear, right? From James Maria supporting these, right? Tropa and Teddy Bear, James Maria projects, but we had obviously linked up by liquidity to PDI. And there's a lot of projects were, right? So SolidX was also linked up to PDI. That has now been decoupled. So they've moved from PDI over to Pulsechain. What's the cool thing about that? Well, Pulsechain is being bought up and burned by all the activity on the chain. So they're going to get a lift from that as well. And of course, Pulsechain has also, I think, been going up quite dramatically against Pulse as well. So lots of cool moves there. Very smart move there from FireWhale. And of course, doing a great job there, getting some nice moves, almost up 10% today. Teddy Bear, of course, I still think Teddy Bear relative to PDI will probably still do pretty well, and it is doing well. It's up 17% at the moment. It still has some PDI stuff here, but it's still got some liquidity, 200k still. But we may see that get addressed as well. Now, I think the Tropus dev, James Maria, is sort of up in the air a little bit there. I haven't seen any particular update on him. Seems to be switching his mind, so we'll have to wait and see there at the moment. Now, the other one we saw, of course, I think is PDDC, also needing to decouple from PDI. And so I'm not sure what's happened there. I think they did do some decoupling, but I don't see them. We've got UFO up here at the moment. PDC Pulse all the way down here. They're actually down 4% at the moment, just looking through some of their peers. And I still got a DI peer here, 122. Okay, so still got a little bit of PDI in there. But yeah, it's the OF contract. So yeah, still a bit of work to do there. But SolidX there taking leadership, decoupling from PDI. I think that's a smart move. So not too bad. So that's kind of where we are there on the markets. Now we've gone through kind of SolidX Index and FireWhale. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover there. If you guys haven't joined our strategy club, links in the video description. I $35 a month. Get some of that information there too. We got Tetra, which I want to talk about. Tetra is coming. Now, obviously, we had some updated news there, and in fact, we had Neil Tertius there from the team, and of course, that was the news there. The Tetra update release is moved to Friday, April the 11th, and that's from Stewman there, another one of the team members. Now Tetra, of course, was going to bring us LP automation, and we're looking forward to that. We're also going to get some, I think, partial limit orders as well. So look excited about that coming back. Obviously, they decommissioned their original, I think, Tetris one. So we're looking forward to all that stuff coming up there. Now, Tetra has some fantastic Web3 products, so I'm very excited about that team. Now, another one, of course, is the Signum Oracle. As you guys know, it's kind of a prerequisite for PUSD Algo, the big stablecoin DeFi project from Jacob coming. and that is also currently going to be coming out on the 11th of April too. So both of them, Tetra and Signum Oracle, now penciled in for a hard date there of 11th of April, and they're just working through some final issues before getting those up and running. So very, very cool, which means that we're going to get an update from PUSD Algo post 11th there. So people like to have some some good stuff there. So kind of cool. All right. Well, let's just say limit orders, Wookie. Let's just say limit orders at the moment. Limit orders. Maybe I'd added the word partial in there, but what just limit orders. All right, so cool. Let's jump into some of the stuff here. Now, I wanted to get into, we've covered XGame, and of course, I did a post here on X for the Kryptonite Show. And of course, if you're not following the Kryptonite Show, you definitely should follow at Kryptonite Show. So if you're not following on X, definitely give us a follow today. That would be really cool. Bam. And before we move on from that, Neil Tishi has got an update here. We discovered a critical bug in the Tetra Signum desktop software in our final builds yesterday that requires attention. They share same code for automation. Easy fix, just needs some time. So yeah, it's got to fix up some stuff there before they get launching, which is pretty normal. There's nothing unusual there. It's always good to find it before you launch. So there we go. Every team has to do it, right? Every team has to do the checks and balances and test and make sure it's all flawless. So well done to the team for identifying that. All right, so that is the Kryptonite Show. If you guys are going to join and follow me on X, definitely get onto it and share it around to your friends as well. Get them to join if you like really great, broad coverage of crypto and Pulsechain and stuff like that. Then definitely do that. I see that on Rumble. Brian saying borderline spamming chat. Yeah, that's Wookie. Yeah, it's Wookie. He's always doing that there as well. In fact, that's the first time I've seen him over on Rumble. Big shout out to you there, Wookie. Nice to see you moving to some new lands, as it were. All right, so let's move on there. So I'm excited about that. So we've got Signum Oracle on number 3 here. Very cool. We've got Tetra Farm at number 1. So kind of cool. Excuse me, I was going to sneeze there for a moment. We've got the Emit farm, which you guys know I've been talking about. We've talked about SolidX, which is the XGame, which is pretty cool. So SolidX there, you definitely give them a follow. If you want to follow more on these details of SolidX with all that stuff, then definitely give them a follow. That is a SolidX right there if you want to follow them and keep up to date with that game, especially if you're going to refer it. That could be huge, right? So kind of cool. Now, the other one we're going to have is obviously coming up is PUSD Algo. But before we talk about that, we're going to talk about Emit. So Emit, of course, is a next big farm coming to Pulsechain. It's got a really cool team, Karis and the folks in there. So definitely worth joining. They've got an NFT at the moment, and you can mint an NFT for 1 million Pulse at the moment, and that's pretty awesome. So get an NFT. 95 minters so far have been purchased. So get in on that. So that is the NFT farm. So I'm going to post that, and of course you need the NFTs are out first. That's going to give you a booster on the farm, and then of course when you get to when the farm launches, you'll be able to participate in that as well. And of course we know they're pretty exciting to get into farms, particularly pretty early. That's coming up there on the chain there. Now they do have a kind of a long-term view on this, so we'll see how that goes. And of course you have to do your own due diligence and all that good stuff. But the farm is coming. Now, I would suggest reading the blog as well. The blog has some very good posts on how the NFTs work, the emitters. They're called the emitters. And so definitely check that. And, of course, they're going to have a DAO as well. So definitely check that out. But probably the important thing there also is to get into the Telegram and get engaged. You'll get some airdrop points in there. That helps boost your multiplier. So definitely check that. You can ask all the questions in there. Getting on the airdrop, getting a multiplier points for the boosters and things like that for the farm, and get engaged. That's all you have to do, and ask questions. You ask questions. There's no harm in that. In fact, that's encouraged. So get on that one. I'm just going to get a copy of the invites for that. So I'm just going to the Telegram to do that. So join Emit Telegram. You can say that Superman sent you, and they'll probably help you out there too. So join up today. Very, very cool. The next big farm coming to Pulsechain. Looking forward to it. And there's I think there was a little clip today of some of the farm UI. So it's pretty cool. So join up today. Easy to do, and check it out. It's going to be pretty exciting. It's going pretty nicely. So very cool. And they're going to be doing lots more stuff around influencers and promotions and things like that, which is pretty cool. In fact, they've got one promotion on at the moment. Let's see if we can see that actually. I think they've got one of those. So let's go to Emit Farm and follow them on X as well. So you can do that. I'll post the link on that one as well. And it's no use me covering a team and not not putting their details. That's the way there. Bam. All right. So x.com, Emit. Nice. In fact, thinking about that, it'd be pretty cool if you check out the farms for, the Signum Oracle as well. So you got Signum Oracle here. I'll post that in the chat too if you guys want to follow them and give them a follow as well. Since Signum and Signum Oracle is also doing Tetra. So you got to sort of hit both of those up there. That's with the Signum Oracle. Bam, lots of cool information there. These are top tier projects, so well worth following there. Bam, we got the Tetra. Yeah, Tetra there. Did I do Tetra? Yeah, I did Tetra. I did Tetra. I did Signum. I did. No, I haven't done Tetra. So that is Tetra. Give them a follow, and you can find all their websites and details as well. I'm not sure if the website's up at the moment, but you can follow everything else. That is Tetra there. Big shout out to Neil and Stu who are running those projects. Now, of course, we're going to be focusing on the Emit farm. So obviously we covered all that. Get into the Discord, Telegram, as I say, and follow them. So we've got automated LP management and limit orders for Tetra. We've got yield farms for Emit coming. And of course, that's going to opportunity to get big yields in there potentially. Once again, you have to do your own due diligence. They have to understand how farms work and stuff like that. Basically, people will provide liquidity in Pulsechain V2, as I understand it, and then we'll take the LP tokens they get from that and put it in the farm for potentially very exciting yield. So we'll see how that goes. I don't want to it's a farm, right? So, but they've got a long-term view with the DAO and everything else. So we'll look forward to that. Now, Signum Oracle, we talked about that, is being delayed along with Tetra until the 11th, but we didn't have a hard date before, or we did have one for Tetra, but now we're going to have a hard date for both of them at the 11th of April. So that's kind of cool. Excited about that. Now, we've covered the XGame crash game in detail. Now, the last one, of course, is PUSD Algo. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Jacobs. He is the world's best peer-to-peer as a dev, in my opinion. He does the frontier of stuff. I've never seen anyone do such advanced stuff. And, of course, we've seen it from PulsePot, BNB Pot, the world's first decentralized crypto casino. Now, that's pretty exciting. And, of course, he's doing Mafia Game right now, the number one GameFi on Pulsechain, number one NFT market on Pulsechain, and of course the only metaverse on Pulsechain. And of course now he's going to be coming out with the ultimate algorithmic stablecoin, for not just for Pulsechain but for the world. And we've seen how successful Liquidity Fork was. How successful will this model be? The holy grail of stablecoins, and of course with DeFi platform as well, offering multiple yield opportunities. So pretty exciting there. Now, if you guys want to participate, there are two bonuses. There's a referral bonus, which you can get mine. It's links in the video description. And there's also, I'll post that in the chat there as well. But there's also, this is the real PDI, right? This is the real PDI coming down the line. Yes, if you're being a bit upset by the PDI, this is coming along. And this is going to be a major feature for Pulsechain because it's going to be scalable as well. Something that the Liquidity Forks and the Coast Forks don't naturally do. Can help you with the way that the algo coin, people buy the algo coin and then mint PUSD. And the PUSD is going to be double backed not only by its DeFi protocol with stability miners, but also with USDL, the Liquidity Fork as well. So it's going to have double stability there. So pretty exciting. And that's why you see people like myself and Cult DeFi and others out there, promoting PUSD Algo. Because it's really going to be pretty exciting. We saw it on testnet working about a year ago. It ran for something like 6 to 7 weeks or something. It was a beautiful pig. And of course, it was also making money too, which is pretty awesome. So excited about this potential. And of course, that's an opportunity for everybody to get in and contribute. Now, the key thing about this is that up to 75% of the sacrifice money, or contribution as I call it, is going into the protocol day one. So that will be going to LP pools and into the stability miners. The stability miners are the secret sauce. They're what makes it, they're what makes it tick. And of course, that's going to be pretty awesome. Now, people obviously with liquidity going in, then people are going to be able to jump in on it too, provide liquidity and earn a pretty cool yield out there as well. And it is multiple tokens. So there's the Algo token, there's the PUSD stablecoin, which is a fantastic brand name of a Pulsechain. And then of course there's the Fetch token that you get for interacting. Anything you do, you earn Fetch token. You get paid out of inflation there. So some of it you're getting paid out of market making. Some of it you're paid out of arbitrage. Some of you getting it paid out of small fees. Some of you getting it paid out of inflation. Some of you getting paid out of the V3 DEX is going to be in as well. So it's going to have a V3 DEX as well. And that could end up being the second biggest DEX on Pulsechain. And then, of course, getting routed through Petius and PortalX and things like that, all these DEX aggregators. So it could be pretty exciting there as well. And the other thing is could be integrated in with Mafia token, right? Mafia token there, which would be fantastic, right? So with them old Mafia game ecosystem. So we could see lots of cool things. And it can go multiple chains. It can jump over. The model can be jumped over to multiple chains. We know that Mafia is going to base chain. We know it's going to Sonic. And we know it's already on BNB. So PUSD Algo could end up jumping from chain to chain, just like liquidity forks are. And it could be that super popular as the first real true DeFi algorithmic stablecoin. Basically, as I say, Terra Luna done right. And it's pretty awesome. It's the only model in the world like this. And worked pretty successfully on testnet. So pretty excited about that. So if you want to get involved in that, 2 bonuses. One is the 9% referral bonus. Get the link to that today. As people that are contributing or sacrificing this without any bonuses, don't do that. Don't be that person. You get free crypto. That's part of the cool thing about crypto. And then the second bonus, if you do $1,000 inclusive of that referral bonus, kind of like $840 plus the referral bonus, that will get you to $1,000, and that will get you to the second bonus, which is the big one, somewhere between 1.01 and 2x multiplier. So you could get a pretty good number there. So pretty good way of doing that. In fact, I got a good explanation here. So let's go back to somebody that's just below $1,000, because I think it's a good example. And I'm going to just scroll this up here so that you can see. Not sure how much you can see of the screen sometimes, but you can see that, I'm pretty sure. Let me have a look. Oh, no, it's too big. So you can see this person here. Let me go to page 4 maybe. And I might just flip view. Yeah, I know the view's not too bad. And let me just get rid of that. So we got, let's go one more page. Page 6, page 7. All right, so can you guys see that? I think you guys can. Yeah, you guys can. And so we've got this person here, down here. They had $900, and they didn't use a referral code. And because they didn't use a referral code, they missed out on 90% bonus. And not only did they miss out on 90% bonus, that 90% bonus would have pushed them over $1,000. And if they'd got that, they would have got the second bonus, bonus X, which would have been a random number. So they got no referral bonus. They got no bonus X, and so they ended up just with $900. You don't want to be that person, right? Now, this person here, they did $1,000, but they didn't. They did $1,000, but they didn't use a referral bonus, and so they didn't get any referral bonus. And therefore, it would have given them a higher base, right? So they would have $1,190, something like that. And then they got a random bonus because they got $1,000. They got 1.57. That was the random number generated. You remember, you can get up to 2x bonus, and they ended up with $1,570. So you can see how different that is. It's such a powerful difference. But then you get up to this person here. They used a 90% bonus, and they ended up getting over $1,000. So they would have done something like $840. They got the 19%. That pushed them over 1,000. And then they were so lucky they got a 1.92 bonus. Remember, the max is 2. They got almost the top one. And they ended up going from about $840 all the way up to $1,900. Compare that to this guy who did 1,000 and this guy that missed out. So, that referral bonus is so important. And then if you do decide, and it's up to you what you decide to do, how much you want to participate. Now, you can just go for the 19% bonus, like this person here. They went down the bottom there. I'm not sure you can still see that, but they went for a 90% bonus, and they ended up getting to 781. Obviously, that's not over 1,000, so they don't get a bonus X, right? So just remember that. So that is kind of the protocol there. So you can see the bonus X over here, sacrifice over $1,000. That's inclusive of the referral bonus. And then you get a 2x multiplier, which is a big, big deal there. Now, we've seen this number go up about maybe $4,000 or $5,000 over the last couple of days with the PDI drama, as people are starting to understand, actually, PDI's got problems, Oracle's exploited, etc. And, of course, liquidity pools being pulled by Richard and all that sort of stuff. And also, project teams that are linked to PDI decoupling. Now we can see that PUSD Algo actually is the way to go. Now, it's a risk return trade off like anything else in crypto. We've seen it work successfully live on Pulsechain as a test, but of course it's got to go live as well. But we're pretty confident that looks pretty good to us. So very cool. And of course, as I say, the heart and soul of it is the stability miners as well. So kind of cool. But it's got plenty of DeFi potential here, earning and staking, etc. Pretty neat there. And of course, people will mint those tokens with Algo there. So pretty exciting. So that is PUSD Algo. Once again, you can consider it, do your due diligence. Now, type into PUSD Algo into this YouTube channel here on the Crypto Night Show, and you will see all the videos I did with Jacob about a year ago. Most of that will be still true, so the way that it works and everything like that. But recently we found out that he has hired a whole new dev team to push this forward to the final line. And of course, they wait for the Signum Oracle first. They need an Oracle like that. And we know that he's already participated in the Signum Oracle with tokens. So he's probably going to end up being a reporter for that as well, providing information. And so this is all going ahead. We've got the Mafia game on one side. We've got the PUSDL stablecoin. So he's going to dominate all these different categories. And then coming up, he's also got his crypto casinos, and we're waiting to get news about all those. And there's this whole new thing coming with those. So very excited about where he's heading with this. So pretty cool. That's what I said. We've got lots of cool project teams adding a lot of value onto Pulsechain, and some of these will be killer apps. Maybe PUSD Algo, maybe XGame. You just don't know, right? Maybe Mafia game. It is awesome stuff, but we've got quality, world-class devs building out some very cool stuff there, and the opportunity for the community to help bring this to market is there as well, right? It's just like any risk return trade-off there, but always do your due diligence, not financial advice, etc. All that good stuff. All right, so that's some cool stuff there. Let's jump over to the maker. I just want to quickly wrap up this PDI maker because what we're seeing here is the joy. So there's a lot of terminology, right, jargon. We have gone through this a couple of times. So the joy is basically all the profit. There's three main ways that joy gets filled up. Imagine it's like the asset side of the maker contract that people get loans from. They take a loan, they get PDI, right? They put collateral and they get PDI out. Well, here is the joy is the asset side of it. So it's fed by three main feeds into this, and it's currently filling at 428 million DAI. Now remember, there is about 26 million DAI or 24.5 million in these total supply contract, but with the 26 billion sub-ceiling there, so about 24.5 billion in supply, about 26 billion in the ceiling. Depends which number you're looking at, but that's kind of the numbers. And we're sitting at 428 million in assets. So this is what it's got to paid out debt that can't get paid off with liquidations, right? So when we go to the liquidations, we go to this other one here called OR. There's the total SIN, the total debt here, or SIN. That's just all this jargon inside the thing assigned to the VAL contract. This is basically a debt that needs to get liquidated, right? It's kind of the second phase there. And of course, it can't get liquidated. Then we've got money from the assets to pay it off, right? It's kind of the thing there. Now, when it can't get liquidated and the system has got a problem, it has to come to woe. And the woe there, the bad debt, is basically a systemic solution. Instead of liquidating the actual individual loan, now it's a system-wide issue, and it has to go to this woe bad debt, right? And of course, this woe bad debt has a little formula that it has to be bigger than the sump, and the sump, of course, is just the auction side. So if you're going to bid off this bad debt and PDI, then you've got to issue some maker tokens, right? So people bid on maker tokens, and you pay off that bad debt, and you destroy all the PDI, right? It's kind of the idea there. So it's inflationary for maker, but deflationary for and fixes up the problems of this bad debt for PDI, right? So. And so that's currently at the moment, and you have to have the joy. So the assets have to run out. So you paid as much debt down as you can with the joy, and then you pay that off, and then the system's better, right? So that's why we sort of make a sort of price rallying overnight, and PDI is sort of just fluttering around at the moment because people are kind of starting to get the point, I think, on PDI. Doesn't mean that it can't pump at any particular time. And we know that Somi out there has been a big supporter of the project. So we've got people that are against the project for good reasons. We've got people that are for the projects for, you decide whether for pump metals, I don't know, whether they're trying to get their money back, I don't know. But then you've got people in the middle, which is I'm trying to stay in the middle here and just talk about it in a neutral point of view. So there we go. So some of the things I see problem with the PDI, of course, is the oracles, still got oracle issues, and the people saying that we'll take over. If we control maker, then we take it over and we reset everything. But I still think that's probably going to be a bit of an issue there. We have no oracles on Pulsechain until Fetch Oracle launched a couple of weeks ago. We've got Signum Oracle coming up on the 11th of April, which will probably be slightly more features on that. So we've got that coming up. And so, yeah, it's possible maybe if you get control of the maker contract. We've got a lot of people holding maker that not even know it exists. Big maker holders over on Ethereum, for example. So, got a lot of issues there. We've still got probably quite a bit of maker and PDI they're owned by the AMM bot / RH. So, still got a lot of stuff going on there. There's so many different accounts out there. So we'll see. It's got whale issues, it's got oracle issues, it's got control issues, it's got exploiter issues, Mr. Dom. So it's got all these issues as well. But it's still got one big pioneer there, Asami, out there pushing it. And of course, he's one of the biggest influencers on Pulsechain, so probably no surprise there. Now, one thing I'd say about that is that you got to look for value, and you got to play your probability game, right? So has the probability run out on this also? Now, the other thing is that destroy balance has actually gone. It was going down. It was about 1.5 million. 1.5 billion earlier in the week. So I remember about 26 billion as the ceiling. So 1.5 is a pretty big amount of supply and the assets, but this has gone down, went down to like below 300, about 288 or something million. And now it's back up at 428. So it's gone back up again. So that pushes out the flop auctions, right? Because the flop auctions need this to be zero. So if this is going back up, that flop auction is just getting deferred and deferred and deferred. And we can see at the moment, the current estimate, it's been pushed. It was the 31st of March. It's now the 2nd of April now. So it's been pushed out. That pressure on Maker is sort of deflating a little bit, even on the Maker token, which rallied on this so-called inflation news, but because PDI would get destroyed, that's out there. Now, the debt also is gone back up as well. It's now back at 1074 as well. And we know today the exploiter minted about 91 million PDI more. So, and posted out a pretty crazy stuff. Now, I posted his post in the Discord if you want to check that out on Crypto Chat. Got a breakdown from the so-called exploiter there, showing how he does it and all that sort of stuff. So check that out if you want. All right, so that's kind of that on that one. So no real pressure on the Maker contract, even if you're a big believer. But I think the negatives are so big now. It's better to look for a real solution, and that is PUSD Algo. That is the future on Pulsechain there. A full algorithmic stablecoin. Now you've also got the liquidity forks, and you've also got the Coast fiat back one. So we're going to have all three models. There's the thing called the stablecoin trilemma. We have two of those coins. We have the fiat one with Coast. We have the collateral one with liquidity forks, and then we're going to have the scalability one with PUSD Algo, the holy grail, of course, of cryptocurrencies. Is making algo stablecoin and DeFi platform, which PUSD Algo look pretty damn good on the testnet. So we're looking forward to that. All right, so it was on the live chain, but as a test. I'm going to rephrase that. So that's kind of cool. That's where we are at the moment. So I do know that Moon King's invited Somi to go on to his channel, so that's going to be a drama fest. Everyone should enjoy that. Maybe even Coexistence Stephen there, who's still believers in this, is also going to be on. They're on the pro camp, right? They're on the pro camp, so it's going to be interesting there. And we saw that Moon King, they decided to back out of it, saying, "Hey, this is getting too tricky, and under American rules, I can't really promote stuff that has exploits anything." So I think that was a wise decision there. All right, so that's on the PDI Maker theory. Hopefully that's some insights there. There's tons of stuff in our crypto chat on how PDI Maker works and all the other things, so definitely check out that chat. If you've got an afternoon of reading, you can check it out. All right, so we've got Titanx quickly. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. Still looking for the bottom of wave 2, and of course just humming along the bottom. So not much happening here. One of the principles of Titanx is supposed to be marketing, but the founder disappeared for 2 months. And of course, I've been a big supporter of this ecosystem because there's a lot of innovation here, and I love innovation in crypto. Probably the kingpin here is the buy and burn collateral, and that gives an anchor. However, when it's turned off, it's of no use to you, right? So when it's turned off, it's of no use to you. Now, there's two different arguments. One is you could turn it on because the ratio is so low at the moment to Ethereum. Why not turn it on now and burn up a lot of the supply and get the chart moving up? The other one, of course, is I'll just wait till the altcoin season runs and the ETH is worth so much more, tens of millions of dollars, and then you turn it on there, right? And so we'll see what happens, what Jake decides to do with this. But at the moment, we're running at 10 zeros, 8,000. We're still up off the bottom. The bottom was way down here back in April last year, in 24 last year. We were down at 10 zeros, 4,800. So we're, not quite 2x of that, maybe 80% up from that. So we're still holding that up there, and it's a little bit off the local bottom, which was down at 7,000. So it's still, but we still haven't started jigging up for wave 3. So we're going to have to probably wait a little bit there. And of course, he's been busy building the Omni-chain protocols. So he's probably had to focus on that in big time. And so, yeah, let's see what happens. Are we going to come out with AI agents for base chain? We're going to have obviously Shogun go over to base chain and other things like that. So we're going to have to wait and see what he's got up his sleeve there. DragonX also likewise has actually got stronger. So it's actually gone up. So 7.13 Titanx. That's actually a strengthening of DragonX, even though the price is down in US dollars because of the Titanx. It's down less because of that ratio improvement. X28 there struggling until the Omni-chain gets going. 0.81. We want that to flip, right? We want that to be greater than 1 because that's going to start burning Titanx at 50%. So we want that to happen. Shogun going omni-chain, obviously got to wait patiently for that. Hydra is the ratio. This is all minted out, so the buy and bin's all turned off. So buy and bin turned off at TitanX, DragonX, Hyper, and Hydra. So we've got to wait for that. So these guys, they're puppet masters. They're going to have to pull the strings, right? They've got the big buy and burns. They're heavily collateral backed. So you just have to wait for both the buy and burns and the omni-chain, and you just never know when those are going to be used, although omni-chain is probably pretty close coming up. Vault, of course, is very exciting. And, of course, Stevie D, the crazy scientist, has got the Bitcoin Genie white paper. As you guys know, this is the frontier of ROI DeFi, and we can't wait to see has he solved the buy-side sustainability side of tokenomics. That's the holy grail in crypto. And, of course, here with the Vault, could this be the one with Bitcoin Genie? And the white paper is coming out, I think, in 2 days' time on Mike Dean. Mike Dean is the one who created this TitanX up here. Looking forward to that. Inferno's going on to chain. It's down today. Morpheus waiting for the V3 decks from Brandon there to go to base chain, maybe Pulsechain, maybe. We'll see what he's doing there. Baby DragonX is going omni-chain. Teton Farms could probably get more from Eric there from DragonX. Of course, he's running that XGame crash game there for FireWhale. He wanted to build it, his team. We're looking forward to that. And also the referral program that he'll be doing for Hydra and stuff like that. Now, you can't do a referral program until you've got a positive ROI, which it doesn't have at this stage, of course. So we have to wait for a reversal in the TitanX ecosystem, which will happen at some stage. It's just a matter of time there, the fact. So we're just waiting for that. Element, of course, is going over to base chain. Also, all the other ones, 360, 389 or whatever, 380, 369, I think those, they're all going there. And Uranus there is down 8%, but has actually performed very well over the last 43 days, and that is up 2.4x. And I covered that project in full, so that's been a very good success there. Recently, we had Flare and these other ones launched there. I haven't really covered those, but they've obviously had pretty good auctions, I believe. So that's kind of where we are. And then Oribus, the USDX, has been a pretty solid project too. Super Shady are doing a great job with that in a difficult environment at the moment. So when the environment reverses, that's all going to go up big time. He's doing a great job there. So yeah, Bitcoin Genie coming up. That's the big next thing, and looking forward to it. This is probably super exciting. Can't wait. We're going to cover the white paper as well on this channel when it comes out. And of course, Taurus there from Cryptographics and Vibernex there is going to benefit Tink Farm. That is our summary. And I said I was going to race through. Was that a fast enough? I think I did. That was pretty damn fast. All right. So finally, we're going to get X1. Shall we do it? X1, Jack Levine here. OMG. The famous vampire, of course. Who's not a vampire? It's not a vampire. Anyway, we got in crypto market. This is crypto after all. So crypto. Now, look, protocols that I'm not, when I see people talk about first principles, you heard that. That was a big thing last year, first principle projects, the year before 23 as well. We're talking about X1, Zen, talking about, TitanX. I've never really bought into that narrative, right, around the first principle stuff, right? Because there's so many problems with it, right? Like on Zen, for example, it's gas fees and big exchange mining and things like that. There's lots of issues there, and so I really don't see it like that. Yeah, you got opportunity. I think you got opportunity in both. I mean, that's true. But yeah, the first principle is really not there. And then you get all these manipulations and delays and controls. So I really don't see if a founder's got that much control over it. It's really not first principles. So that's a big problem, right? And sometimes founders will say, well, we got, it's just DeFi. You guys do what you want. Well, it's not really, is it? Because projects are really, influencers really have a big, founders have a big impact on their protocols. So it's a nonsense, or it's a nonsense. So, if they disappear, then there's no leadership. If they come back, there's leadership. You know what I mean? It's like you make a vacuum, it's got to be filled by something, and normally it breaks down. You get a negative community and all sorts of stuff, and the price falls away, right? So leadership does matter. We've seen leadership matters in Pulsechain with Richard Hart. When he used to live stream, man, it was just epic. Everyone was in, people were flocking. Leadership does matter a lot, even though we're in DeFi. And look, of course, we love pure DeFi. The closer things are to a true DeFi, the better. But we've got a lot of projects that have a lot of influence, and it certainly dials they control, like buy and burns in the crypto community. Now, of course, big support, for Jack Levine here. But of course, we've got X1 coming. They're still doing some technical stuff, but that's coming. And of course, Zen at the moment is a pretty good pickup with the price at the moment. And of course, it's one of the big gas users on the old Ethereum at the moment. So it's getting closer. Some people thought it might be at the end of this month. We're expecting it in the end of Q1, but it looks like it'll probably slip into Q2 at the moment. But it may be closer than we think. I've heard some inside information about that, and it could be very, very soon indeed. So we shall see where that heads. So kind of cool. Hope you guys have enjoyed the content today. Man, what a full show. We're up to an hour and 20 minutes. So I've even gone past my normal time frame of an hour and 15. But hey, we've had a good time. Hope you guys have as well. Now, I just want to check over on Rumble. Big shout out to everybody over there. Don't forget to smash the follow button over on Rumble, hit the like button, and share the channel around. Do appreciate that as we look to grow, and have a lot of fun in crypto. But as you guys know, I've really moved towards a variety show. So I will be doing secondary shows on other topics like politics, sports, and all sorts of cool topics. So that's going to be a lot of fun coming there. So if you like a variety show, I do. And there's lots of other cool things to talk about as well in the world, like robotics and AI and things like that. So it is pretty cool. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Smash the like button. We're streaming to about 11,000 subscribers. So big shout out to everybody, all the supporters. Get into our Discord. We've got about 1,100 people in our Discord, and it'd be great to have people like yourself in there. Everyone has their own special spark, so bring that in, and we have a good time there. We've got all the information. Great crowd, and are looking forward to this altcoin season. It will come, and we're about to enter the golden age of America, and that's going to be good for the world. And of course, world peace as well is being pursued. So that's got to be a good thing also. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.